Dan, how you doing?
Not bad, Eric. How are you doing?
Tell me a story.
A story about what? Just any random story?
Tell the best story you know.
The best story I know? I know a good story. I could tell you the best story that I've probably ever told. You want to hear it? One night, this girl knocked on my door. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what the heck? So I get up, and I'm like, hello, and it's this hot girl. And so I go and I knock on I asked her if she wanted me to get the kid that she came there to see. And she's just like, no. She's just like, don't knock on his door. She's like, I just want some company. And I was like, well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I really want to go to bed. She's like, no, really, I need company, please. I was like, well, alright. So, I'm like, go downstairs. I'm like, I'll meet you at the front door. I'm going to get dressed. So, I got dressed, walked downstairs, we went out to her van, talked for a few, and then I was like, alright, well, I'm like, we're not going inside, let's go to a hotel. So, we drive down the road. She's all over the place. I'm like, alright, go back to my house, walk upstairs. She's like, well, this is after, like, kind of, like, messing around a little bit. Like, she got me going in the van, so I'm like, alright, well, she's like, if you go downstairs and make me a sandwich and get me a drink, she's like, I'll screw you. I'm like, oh, alright. So, I was like, this is the first time in probably, like, a year that I got laid. And it's like...
Did you make it the sandwich?
It's probably over a year, probably a year and 3 months, dude. This girl knocks on my door in the middle of nowhere. She doesn't want anything to do with my roommate, who she was, like, prior, like, she was seeing him. And, like, they had problems, and...
Did you make her the sandwich?
He was a pussy. He wouldn't talk to her about the problems, so I was like, whatever. I'll bang her, see what happens, and then, like... Anyway, so, after the peanut butter and jelly sandwich and everything, yada, 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 I brought it up. She loved it. She showed me that she appreciated it, and then, whatever. Then she, like, fell asleep there. And, like, she didn't leave. She fell asleep. And, my roommate woke up. He's like, whose van is in my driveway? I'm like, I don't know. Because he, like, knocked on the door. And, he goes downstairs, talked to my buddy's mom. She's like, what? She's like, well, go find out who it is, this and that. So Riley goes back upstairs. He tells Lynn who he thought it was. She's like, no, go knock on the door and try and find out. It could be somebody else. So he knocks on the door. And he's like, open the door, rah, rah, rah. He's like, who's in there? Who are you with? I'm like, no. So, like, he goes downstairs. He gets a pin to open the lock. He opens the lock, kicks the door in. She's in bed next to me sleeping, dude. He, like, yells. She, like, lifts her head up. Like, fucking, he grabbed, like, the laundry soap, threw that at me, slammed my door up against the wall, punched the door. Then he came over to me to, like he was gonna do something. And he just, like, I was, like, gonna hit him, like, 3 times before he could flinch. And he, like, backed up and he, like, walked toward the door. And Tim was there. He was, like, laughing. He thought it was the funniest thing, like, I was in bed with Riley's girlfriend. But they weren't going out at the time, and he was too much of a pussy to work out their problems. So I was like, whatever, dude. I'll bang her. I'm like, you wouldn't want Riley to, like, help raise that kid, would you? That's what, like, she was trying to do with him and stuff, you know, I think. Kinda, like, you know.
Is that the conclusion of the story?
Yeah, because he's a fucked up motherfucker. It's good to stay away from fucked up people.
This is a good story. thinks.
Yeah. And the other part of the story is I learned that if you're around fucked up people long enough, people are gonna think that you're fucked up because you hang out with them all the time. You know?
Good thing you're not.
Hmm?
Good thing you're not.
Right.